Hello and welcome to another edition of Stockwatch on this Friday the 20th of November. So in the last couple of weeks, the world has been given a taste of what it has wanted to hear on the COVID-19 front, with some pharmaceutical companies announcing that their phase 3 trials has been over 90% effective. So different organizations have been popping up in the news recently saying that how well their vaccination works. So this is on the back of their final stage of testing, which is also known as the phase 3 trials. Now, in retrospect, the more vaccinations that are found and that are proved successful means a lot more positivity in the markets as well. So we've seen stocks like Pfizer and TEVA, which I'm going to look at today, pop up quite significantly on the news of progressive drug trials. And also, having more vaccinations in the market means that it's going to be a little bit more easier to distribute, create more doses of the antidote as well. So, for example, one size might not all fit for everyone. There's going to be different populations, different genders, and obviously different age groups. So, for example, Pfizer have recently said that their over 65 testing has proved to be almost 95% positive and effective in battling the pandemic. So, but these potential vaccinations have a long way to go. So we've got the Oxford AstraZeneca trials as well. We've got Moderna that came out, and obviously we've got Pfizer and BioNTech that have also hit the headlines as well. But there's a long way to go at the moment. They've penciled in possibly an end of year date to get the vaccination approved, but you've got regulatory bodies like the FDA and also independent groups of scientists that are given the task to review data about the drug as well. So these bodies have said that they're not going to compromise on standards just because there is a desperate need for the vaccination. They still have to go through rigorous testing. So these standards are not going to drop for any cost. So with that being said, what is a realistic time frame? Well, I've heard talks, like I said, about the end of the year, but as I said earlier as well, how many doses of the vaccination are going to be available at that time? The World Health Organization is trying to make sure that every country gets a certain amount of dosage to support their own crisis. But you've got America and the UK, for example, that are pulling out all the stops, spending billions of pounds and dollars to try and make sure that they've got enough vaccinations to stem the tide and the flow of not only the infections but also the deaths, as America, for example, passed recently 250,000 deaths in the country. So it's very, very significant to see what will go on in the next few months or leading up to the end of the year. So let's take a quick look on Pfizer first of all, because they were in the headlines. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit to show you the yearly trend. So we had the bounce back after the initial pandemic, the first wave, but then like a lot of other technology companies, we didn't see that overall surge to record highs like it has eventually got this year, or yearly high should I say. It had a detrimental downturn because earlier in the year there wasn't much optimism that a vaccination would be found, and this weighed heavy on a lot of pharmaceutical stocks. So we had a bit of an upsurge when there was a bit more of headline news in the quarter three, but now we went into a sideways motion, and now we're going to, as I said, the recent highs. So if we just zoom in on the areas of interest now, we've seen this big jump from the last weekend before this one, and we've had on the 9th of November the big surge on the prices, but obviously it couldn't contain the momentum, and now we've had a little bit of a downturn. So I've hinted like a strong hidden bearish divergence on the momentum indicator, which brought prices down. It couldn't obviously contain the bias to the upside just based on headline news alone. So this is why it's come down a little bit. Now what I'll be looking at is I've highlighted the top border of the Ichimoku cloud. So with the help of this indicator, I'm looking at a bit of a support line that I'll be looking at probably in the next few sessions now as the headline news decreases. So I'm not really going to be looking at Fibonacci's or anything like that on the pharmaceutical front. I'm going to be looking solely on headlines and seeing when the next headline breaks, the news events break, to see if we can achieve these highs once more. So what I'll be looking at the moment, $40 seems quite a way off again, to see if that's going to happen in the next few trading sessions, which I doubt it will. It's going to have to get through quite a rigorous resistance period of probably $37, and then this other junction here roughly around the 38 or to the top end of the $38 to get back up to $40 approximately, which we've seen yearly highs at the moment. So in the next few trading sessions, I'll be looking at these levels. As I said, it's all fundamental driven at the moment for the pharmaceutical industry. If there is a bit more of a positive reaction to clinical phase 3 trials like I was mentioning before, then we could get a lot more of an upsurge, that's for sure. So let's take a look at TEVA as well, because there's another pharmaceutical company that I've been looking at. And again, daily we've seen the uptrend, and then we saw a bit of a detrimental outlook in the middle of the year. So as I look now, with the help of the Ichimoku indicator, prices have been engulfed for a while now since we had that news, but it seems to be a bit more weight on TEVA because they're not really in the headlines as much. They're just a pharmaceutical company that has just happened to have a bit of an upsell when the first news broke of Pfizer announcing a positive vaccination trials. So now I'll just be looking to see at certain levels. We're looking at the top border here of this cloud. So at the moment we're trading at 936 approximately. I'll be looking at the lower $9 region first of all to see a bit of a test. That's a bit of a confluence with the base and convergence line of the Ichimoku indicator, and then I'll be seeing a little bit more of a further drop down. So pharmaceutical companies are the ones to watch leading up to Christmas for sure, and then going into the new year, we'll see if this comes into fruition. If there's nothing else really been approved by the FDA or any independent bodies, then we should be looking at a bit more of a decline in the pharmaceutical industry going forward. So ones to look out for sure coming up until the end of November and certainly into December as we close the year out. So that's all from the Stock Watch today. That's all from me. Thank you very much for joining me. And if you have any comments, feel free to post them on the video as usual, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead, and bye for now.